We are back, and I am Alyshia Powell.
And I'm Asafa Powell, the sub 10 king.
And this is the Fast Lane Lifestyle.
Oh, definitely fast life.
Yeah, we're moving fast, like the way you slid in my DMs.
I don't remember that. I don't remember
That's how we met.
You slid back in my DM.
Instagram.
It was slide for slide.
No, like 2 weeks later. I had to think on it and all of these things.
I mean, you responded, so I'll work with that.
Let's get back to this. How do we even cross paths on Instagram?
Cross paths.
Yeah, I know why.
I'm gonna let me take a drink to this, cause man.
So I know why. I want to hear your version of it.
All right, so I told you this once. I'm gonna tell it again.
Okay.
I was in Beijing at the World Championships.
That's 2015. 2015.
Yo, just let me talk. Let me talk my talk, now, man. You'll get your chance to talk. You're just pressuring, man. You're pressuring me like that. Remember, I'm a husband at the end of this, you have to, you can't pressure me too much.
Got it.
But yeah, I was in Beijing and, and I was, just chilling in bed. But prior to this, you kept popping up on my page, I think, even before.
Oh, before
Beijing.
championships. Okay.
Yeah, before the championships. And when I was at the championships in my room, just chilling, I'm like, yo, why this girl keep popping up on my page? Who's this girl? And every time you pop up, I go through your page. And I'm like, yeah, man, this girl is nice, but I didn't message you at first. I waited, maybe another time when you pop up. I was like,
so okay. I kept just popping up like that.
Okay.
Wow.
I guess because I knew people who knew you. So, I guess you keep popping up and I just slid in the DM. I was like, hey, what's up?
You just finally decided let's go for it, right?
I didn't say what's up, beautiful, though.
No, you said, hey, we need to find out and pull it up and get a picture.
You see,
I'm going to do
myself.
it.
At least I wasn't
cocky. Hey, I'm Asafa.
At least I wasn't cocky. I could have said, hey, what's up? You know who I am.
And I would have been not answering to that. Yeah, for sure. Because I've had a few of those DMs. I'm like, that's not going to happen. But in all, I know the reason why I popped that, not because of mutual anything. There was, I used to run track. We're going back on that.
Let me get my glass.
There was a specific lady that at the time you were in talks with, because actually in 2012, we were in the same vicinity. You came down for a track meet. I think you came for treatment. I was at the same track meet and you were with the same young lady. So we were friends, not necessarily friends, but we knew of each other because of training, track, etc., coaching. So I think I kept popping up because you know how Instagram works. When she's liking my stuff, it's... So I already knew about you. So I had to ponder, do I really want to answer to this DM? Because I've heard stories like, oh, he's a ladies' man, as in Jamaican term. Patois, he's a gallus, that man, yeah, it's just chipping through.
I don't know about that.
So that was it. So I remember when
I'm a smooth operator.
When I seen that not really, the talks was all the way in Toronto and you were in Jamaica, so not really.
Pressure.
So, yeah, exactly. So I called my best friend Eva and I'm like, why is Asafa Powell in my DM? Because we obviously know about you because track and then we hear the stories because the same young lady was, letting us know what was happening. I see the stories, but you didn't know if they were true. I heard a lot of those stories. Well, I seen she was flued out. She got flued out.
Wow. I wonder who did that. Who did that?
Oh, goodness. So, long story short, we started talking and funny thing, when we first started communicating, you actually didn't even have my number.
Yeah.
I had him on Viber at the time because I called my friend Eva and I'm like, what do you think? And she's like, I mean, you're not looking for anything serious, so just see where it goes. You never know, all these things. So I'm like, all right. That's when I responded and we got on Viber and we spoke on Viber for a while. You didn't have my number because I'm like, just knowing your history and your background, that I can't give you my number.
It was a task, it was a task. I guess you had me, you had your guard up.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I think my
so
expectation was just like really, it was here.
yeah.
And
So
at the time, I was really focused on getting placed in New York. So taking things more, instead of just being locally in Canada, I wanted to go more international with modeling. So that was really my focus. And then came in the picture, I think after we got to know each other a little bit more, I flew down to come see you. And then I think when I came down a little bit, it freaked me out a little bit because you had this whole Sagicor thing.
Before you go there, like one of the things that was different with you, like we were talking for maybe 3 or 4 months.
Yes.
You know, and when I actually, asked you, that I told you that I wanted to see you and meet you in person, because by then maybe a month and a half after, that's when we actually did a video call first.
Right, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
we did a video call, so I knew you were real.
Not,
and then,
no catfishing.
not a catfish like I used to get. And when I suggested, that we link up, you actually, said you'll buy your own ticket. And
yeah, because I can leave anytime I want to.
Yeah, I offered, and you said no, you'll buy your own ticket, you'll do whatever, and that was something really different. I can just imagine a lot of the ladies now be like, oh, you bought your own ticket,
Right,
why didn't
she shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but that's what makes this thing.
Yeah, the difference.
Make there's some simple things, make a big difference. And a lot of women, they don't understand that, they don't know that, they just depend. It's like they just have their mind is very one track.
Right, one-minded in a way. Conditioned as well, because I know even as a model, a lot of times it was, oh, you're beautiful, you're a model, you should just be with a rich man, and you save your money and he just gets to pay for everything. And I didn't grow up that way, so it was a bit weird. But
I mean, not saying if I'd gotten that ticket, like I wouldn't respect you.
Of course, yes.
But the respect is different. Like I look at you differently when you did that.
I mean, I just wanted it to be like it's in my control when I want to change the flight. Like I don't know if we're gonna connect like that in person.
And I didn't want that same control too,
like, oh, I'm stuck with her for.
Yeah,
but it was an in and out trip, and I was saying what scared me because you had this big conference to do, and I remember there was a fan that came up to you and she was like shaking, crying, and all these things. And I'm like, oh God, like, I don't know if I can handle this lifestyle. It's frightening. And then I guess things went well because the next weekend you were like, oh, fly down. We have this banquet awards ceremony. I think that was for Worlds as well, right? Yeah. And I remember when I flew down, I don't know if you remember saying this to me, and you were like, oh, so you're my girlfriend, right? I'm like, I don't know about that. Like in stages.
Oh gosh, Mark, like before I met you, like if I met a girl, or if I flew in a girl, or whatever it is, like after 2 days, like that's it. I don't want
That's a maximum.
Yeah, there was a maximum of 2 days. I couldn't stand.
Oh, jeez. You're like, okay, it's time now.
I guess I was just living that life, but in a sense, like, you can feel the energy and the vibe of the person. And like after 2 days, you just get tired of seeing that person, or, it is. But with you, it was different. Like when you were leaving, I was saying you're leaving too soon.
Right.
So I wanted you to come back, and it's like, there's a friend of mine, Tara. Like Tara has seen, some of my days, and
yes.
when I saw that she was like, Saf, don't lose this one. I was like, I'm thinking the same thing.
Right.
So, everything flow, when you got off that plane. And the minute you step out, it's like I felt like I've known you for a very long time.
Right. Everything was just organic.
Everything was organic and was proper.
Yeah.
Proper thing. It got a little slim, on the slim side.
Yeah, because I was trying to go more international outside of the Canadian market. So yeah, at that time I was very, very tiny in our pictures we had together. But
yeah, but I was still kind of, living that life
Yeah,
where I was
you
hiding.
had your big toe in,
Yeah,
and
I
the
was
other
hiding.
toes were outside. So I don't even know how. I remember we kept it low key, I think, for a year, and then sometime in 2016,
you dropped the bomb.
no, I think I posted a picture by that time. I'm
that
like,
was a bomb.
nobody really knows me or anything of that sort, so it shouldn't really. But I don't know, one of your stalkers or
That was a
what
bomb.
fans just it blew up everywhere, and my DMs blew up. Like, oh, that's your man. Well, you know, I was over there this weekend. I was doing this weekend. Oh, this, that, and there was so many messages coming.
Stress, man.
So
I'm on the
like,
spot.
Yeah.
I'm on the spot.
But I guess like as an athlete, it's hard to leave that lifestyle, right? So.
But the thing is, what I really love and respect about you is like, and you always say to me like, you know, the past is the past. You don't really care about it, you know. So it's like a lot of times you'll tease me about all of these things, and sometimes I'll get uncomfortable because I'm like, man, why does she have to keep talking?
I know, like right now I can see you're like,
you know, I have to keep talking about all these things, you know. But I mean, yeah, I respect it for that. We can have, you know, conversations.
Yeah, open conversations.
You know, we can talk about a lot of things.
Right.
You know, like I said, sometimes you ask me about some stuff and I'm like, why does she want to know this? Why?
I mean, I think it just helps with open communication with us. Like the honesty is the past, or even if it happened during us, it's something that I decided to stay and we moved past this, and we've built that trust that when it gets to the point of when I hear it, I'm like, I think sometimes for me it's the fact that you feel uncomfortable. So I just,
you like to tease me.
Yeah,
you like
exactly.
To tease me.
But I think it helps I think that helped a lot in our communication, because I've been around couples where they don't want to talk about certain things, or if it's our friends and you're like, oh, remember that time, and they're like giving you the look like, please don't do that.
Yeah.
And I
like,
find
no,
that
it's fine.
very odd, because half of the time it didn't happen during the time of their relationship together. But I mean, like in any relationship, when you're dating an athlete, there is ups and downs, and there's a lot that comes with it. Groupies, all of these things. Because even to this day, it's the same. Married or not, there's still women that would still try, right?
Yeah.
So the pressures of that. So we definitely had our growing pains, and then we were long distance as well. You were here, I was in New York.
We were always on the move. Always on the move.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I remember that. You remember that one time. I think the first time this happened was when we were flying to Atlanta.
Yes,
we flew to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And
you were injured at the time.
Yeah, so I was gonna get treatment on my legs, and you were like, "Okay, you come and stay." I was supposed to be there for like 3-4 days or more.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
and the minute we landed in Atlanta, you got that message that you need to be in New York, and the next day, you flew to New York.
Yeah, I did my shoot. And
then come back to Atlanta.
Yes.
And then we stayed there for maybe 2 more days, and then
so back and forth
back to Jamaica. And then the minute you got back to Jamaica, you got another call. You had to leave.
Yeah, it was always a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
What I want to ask you is, even though we had our ups and downs, and like I said, big toe was in and the rest was out. How did you know? Because you proposed kind of early, I think, after a year of us dating. How were you so sure, even though you still had like many appetizers?
Man, man, the thing is, when we just started to link up and thing, and just so everyone know, this is one of the things we haven't discussed before.
What?
This part that we're going to discuss, because you asked me this many times, and I'm like, just forget about this now, man.
Right, I know.
So we just started talking and stuff, and like I said, I was still, in that phase, of living that type of lifestyle.
Yeah, because it was a big transition for you.
I was a sex figure in a sense,
Yeah, for Jamaica, it's true, because the amount of women that still come up and like, oh my gosh.
The attention, a lot of attention were there, and still in my prime and all that stuff. So, being in the spotlight and having Instagram and everything that's in your face.
Yeah, everything's so accessible right now.
Yeah, very accessible. And girls, it's like you're like, oh, let me hear what this girl's saying, or what this girl is doing. And I was just still playing that feel out there. But at the end of the day, I knew that you were number one, for me at that time. So when things started happening and you start getting message from even Europe and
Everywhere. It was
all
worldwide.
over
It
the
was
world,
international, baby.
man, when you put that post out, and I was like, man,
Stress.
okay, nobody don't know her, so nobody will see this post. Oh man, next day.
Not even
Was
the
it the
next
next day? The
day. I
same
think it
day?
was the same day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same day. And you just posted a picture of my back.
Yeah.
My back, and people, and the social media site here in Jamaica, I think Scan.
Yeah,
I think Scan Media.
and they were trying
got
to
it
dig
first.
up everything.
And then people start digging up your background and try to find out who you are.
Yeah,
and then, people started to, and the thing is, people started to message you. Nobody was messaging me.
Right.
People started to slide in your DM and whatever
but
it
that's
is.
how it normally goes.
I know. But the thing is that goes to show you that, it was just
out of
a
spite.
thing. It was just a thing, so if they were actually my real person,
they would have
then
messaged you and
would
had
come
that
to me
conversation
and whatever.
and
Then I remember when they messaged you, you were like, yo, it's done and all that stuff. And I sat there and I was like, no man, this girl is who I want. And I remember sending you a message because you weren't taking my calls.
Yeah.
Sent you a message.
I think you actually had your friend even contact me too.
Yeah, because you weren't taking my calls and all that stuff. And I was like, yo, this is what I want. And, it took you a while, and then you came around, and, from then and there, I started to look at you differently.
Right.
And then I just, whenever I was with you, or even talk, like we would talk every day.
Right,
and that never happened.
Right.
Those are some of the signs that,
Friendship,
a man should look for in a woman. When you want to everywhere you go, you want her to be there. Like, you have some men when they're still living the playboy lifestyle, they don't want their woman around them.
Yes.
Often. But for me, like, we're bench and batty. Everywhere I go, I want you to be there.
Yes.
So whenever I go out without you, I feel empty. I feel, I don't feel like, myself.
Right.
I have my phone, talking to you, still talking to you. So it's like, I get so comfortable with that, and that made me a lot more attracted to you.
Right.
So, like small things, some of the things are easy stuff, when you come and you actually take care of me, really take care of me, and
Right.
you were really the one from the beginning.
Right.
So that's how I knew. And
so it took a year, and then I always say when a man knows, he knows, because we didn't really date that a year.
Yeah.
And you popped the question in my hot girl prime.
Yeah, and the thing is, you go into some relationships, and in the public's eye, it looks perfect and it looks like, the real deal. But with each other, it's like, you don't see yourself with that person.
Right, there was something missing.
Yeah, there's always something missing. Even though you feel a certain way about that person and you're with them, you don't really see yourself in the future. See that person in your future. So
meaning you've experienced that before.
Yeah,
right.
I think a few times.
A few times, right. You're probably just with them, like the company, etc.
But the thing is, like, I really didn't know anything, because my friends and I used to have this talk all the time that, they're like, yo, you're never gonna get married.
Right,
I'm like, for sure I won't get married.
Right.
Because I was loving the lifestyle.
The lifestyle. And you never seen yourself as a marrying type.
I didn't find someone that I have that kind of respect for, or see myself with them.
You didn't find your person. Because I know you had mentioned to me that we had this conversation a couple weeks ago. And you had said you never seen yourself as the marrying type. That was shocking to me, because yes, we had our growing pains, our ups and downs in our relationship. Even when we got engaged, we were still going through a lot of like growing pains and stuff. And you really transformed. It's like day and night who you've become, right?
Yeah. A different man.
Yeah.
Total
So
different man.
to me, it's like, it's crazy that you just never ever seen yourself as the marrying type.
Yeah. And to make it even crazier, when I made that decision to get married to you, like it really brought out a lot of I'm trying to find the right word to say. Well, it made a lot of people show their true color.
Right.
You know, like a lot of people were considered friends.
Right, in your circle.
In my circle, like, you know, they didn't support us. They, you know, I mean, they pretended to support.
Right.
But, you know, after, you know, everyone disappeared, you know, it's just me and you. Yeah, you're my best friend. You're my best friend, and you know, you're the one who I come to with everything.
Right.
Even with my relationship problems, I have to come back to you.
Right.
Like I don't have that other person who I can go and sit down and talk to and say, hey, yeah, man, my wife going through this.
Right.
You know, and all that stuff. I don't have that person where you have your bestie, your Eva.
I mean, I also think the dynamic changes, like the way it was a little bit of a growing pain for you when we first, like learning how to I think what it was, now that I think of it, you just didn't know how to be in a relationship where I expected you to be with just me. That was the standard. And like, if you really want to be with me, I'm not sharing you with anyone, because if I'm going to be loyal to you, I don't want to go on here and someone's messaging me about you. And I mean, like, to each is your own. What works for you works for you. But that just didn't work for me, because like, I bring a lot to the table.
Yeah.
And my thing too was, I didn't need you. I didn't need anything from you. You were like a plus, a bonus, right? So it's like I needed you financially. I didn't need anything else from you. There wasn't anything you could give me besides your love that I wanted, that I couldn't get for myself.
And I gave you a lot of that, though. A lot of love.
So I think in the whole circle dynamic, I think probably for them, they probably just thought you changed, but it was more so growth. Like you were just becoming this different person, that they were like, well, this is not, you know, the bachelor pad
There's
anymore.
no fun anymore,
and
you know?
Right. The lifestyle, people get used to a certain lifestyle, and then when it's changing, I mean, I believe in people coming to your life for a season and a reason, you know? So I think that was, the season was done, and the reason for you is just learning to know when certain friendships are done, or the reason why, like, you have certain friendships. Some people are just a good time. Some people are more so like friends that become family, and you know,
and when you mentioned that, you we sat and we talk about stuff like you tell me about friends, you know, that you think their friendship is worth saving.
right.
And, you know, you tell me to reach out to friends to try and save that friendship, you know, but, you know, I guess, you know, a lot of the friendships don't, I mean, there's no saving.
Right. I mean, you can't, if
is.
someone doesn't want to salvage something, you can't force anybody with anything. But how did you handle, like, did you like us being long distance? I think for me at the time, it worked because I was very career focused and everything. So a lot of times long distance is hard for people.
Yeah, for me, like I was also always on the move. You know, I was always on the move. So to have, like, there are so many times that you were just there for me. You know, that's what made the long distance thing work as well, because no matter what time of day I call you, or whenever, whatever it is, like, you're just always there to keep me company. If I'm going to the airport, in those long layovers, like, you sit there on me with the phone for hours.
Yeah.
You know, when I land, you know, you would, you know, hey, yeah, are you there yet? So we're just always communicating. There was never a time that you would call me,
right,
and I wasn't available.
Right,
and there was never a time that I would call you and you weren't available.
Yeah, that's true. It was.
So it was you were always there, even though you weren't there.
Right.
You know, it was always there.
Yeah.
There for me, and you know, I think things like that, you know, help the relationship.
I think we built a friendship because with long distance, I can't see you all the time. So we have to build that friendship and that communication and that that openness, you know, and then sometimes we had to have like that hard honesty and everything else. I think long distance in our favor definitely work, but if you're not ready for it, it's really hard, especially if you're a person that's not. If you're working, I think for us, because we probably didn't work a 9 to 5, like a typical 9 to 5, so it was easy to just, okay, you're doing this, I'm doing this, and
the line of work that we both both have was very similar. You're always traveling for work. I'm always traveling for work. You used to be an athlete, so you understand. You know,
right? There wasn't any pressures of, oh, why are you not coming to see me, or this, that, you're leaving so soon. It was just very, I think it was not smooth sailing, obviously not, but it was, it worked in our favor in that case. But when we decided that,
I know you're loving this right now.
Yes,
I know you're loving this. You're loving me on the spot.
We were engaged, I think for the longest time was in secrecy, right? Why was that? I'm like, why was that? Was it like you were still...
My thing is, I was never used to anything like that. It wasn't even something that, you know, I planned like for 5 years or...
Let's backtrack. Were you nervous? I remember that day. I just remember us being out. Actually, at first, you wanted me to fly out, I think, for Valentine's Day, but I couldn't because I was shooting a campaign. So I said, you know, when I get the time off, I will. And you were like, make sure it's the weekend. Make sure it's the weekend. So I'm like, all right, okay, like what's happening? So I get down and we had a day full of like, we went to the arcade, we were playing games, and you just kept feeding me wine. You're like, here, you want more to drink? I'm like, what is going on? I remember the night before, your sister-in-law pulled me aside and she was like, I've never seen him behave this way about anyone before. You know, I've seen a lot of them come and go. And I was like
a teenager. I was like a teenager in that time, man.
So that's why you're feeding me so much.
I mean, the thing is, I was very sure.
Right.
But it's like I didn't plan or I wanted to do it.
Okay.
But I knew I wanted to do it that
weekend, that time.
So, you know, I was like, yo, all right, we're going to do dinner and I'm going to do it at dinner.
You were going to do it at dinner? I can't even see that. That's why it didn't happen.
Exactly. So when we went to dinner and, you know, we got the wine, you know, it's crazy. And we still love that wine. Like we tell everyone all the time that this is the wine that we drank the night when we proposed. You know, let me drink some wine to that.
You feel like you're back to that day though.
Yeah. And you know, we were at dinner, we had steak.
Yeah, it was a steakhouse that we went to. We had steak
in Austin, Texas, and we're there, I'm like, yo, this ring in my pocket, yo, the scratch in my leg, man. I'm like, yo, what am I going to do with this ring? You know, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And then the bill came.
You're just like,
I'm like, I'm going to do it. Then we pay the bill.
Yes.
I'm going to do it. And then we walk out. And I was like, all right, I'm still going to do it. And then when we went back to the hotel. Went back to the hotel and we were in bed chilling. I'm like, man, this is it. And I took out the ring and I didn't even say anything. I took out the ring.
No, you always say this, but that's not how it happened. That was not the version of it at all. We have like two different versions.
I don't remember saying anything.
My version was that I was trying to figure out what you were trying to do because it's like, I didn't know if you were doing a lunge or if you were on one knee or what. No, because remember the first couple of, I would say 6 months into knowing you was my birthday or something. And then you had earrings and you were like acting like it was ringing. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, this is not it. So in that moment, my thought process was like, it's either earrings or, you know, so I was excited for earrings.
Thing, when I opened the box and you saw it.
My specific words to you was like, oh my God, are you proposing? Because like I'm seeing.
That's what I'm saying.
Asafa, you weren't even on one knee. It's like you were doing a lunge. I don't know what you were doing.
That's what I'm saying.
It was like, you were so unsure of like how to do it.
I'll show you the ring. And you were like, what are you doing? Are you proposing?
Yeah,
and then I'm like, yes. And then I'm like,
you're like, oh, will you spend the rest of your life with me? And you were like saying in low voice.
Come on, man. You know we have to put on that
But I
smooth
always
voice.
let you have like
Smooth
your
voice. I was
version
like, yo,
because you
like-
like that version better. But today we're not doing that.
Listen to me, man. That's
But
how it
you
works.
were
Remember,
nervous.
I'm the older one.
Oh, now you claim your age.
I'm the older one.
Oh,
so
wow. You claim it when it's
whatever I
beneficial.
said, whatever I say, I remember that night. That's what it is.
No, that's not how it was. But you were nervous. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't understand what was going. That's why it was a question. Like, what's going on? Are you proposing? It was a question mark at the end of that. But I mean, yeah, I said yes, and I was happy, and
you called
it was a happy
Eva.
ending. Yes, of course, I have to call
Eva
my
and
bestie.
was like on the phone, Eva crying, "Oh my God, he proposed!" And Eva was like, "Ah!" You know,
Yeah.
Eva is the boss, though. Eva
Yeah,
is the boss. You
I
know,
know.
I always, take my hat off for Eva.
Yeah.
I'll do anything for Eva. And it's great that you have that type of friend, where I can even have that friendship
Right,
with her,
right.
because whenever your friends come to Jamaica, I always try my best to show them a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm such good friends with them.
You guys have a bond, literally.
And I remember your friend Abla.
Yes, Abla.
Abla
Yes,
was like, "Yo,
yes.
I didn't like you."
Yeah, and
Abla
the
told
reason
me,
why
and
she
doesn't
didn't
play like
she didn't like you was because she was in LA at the time, and I think, and this is random, like one of I wouldn't even say she's an ex, someone I used to see or
somebody,
deal with
yeah.
like many moons ago, randomly had
Send
tried
her a
to message me,
Mhm.
and then had seen that I'm friends with Abla, and she was in LA at the time, and had sent her a message about, oh, Asafa's this and all these like craziness.
Mhm.
Oh, my new man has old cars and I used to date him, and all he does is just cheats and all these things. And so Abla was like, why are you, if that's your ex, why are you sending me
Mhm.
this message?
Yeah.
It's not
Why
relevant
not?
to me right
Yeah.
now. And then she goes and tells Abla, when I see you in LA, I'm gonna fight you. So
Yeah,
she had every reason. Like, these women were savages.
Abla was pissed though. Abla
Yeah,
was
she never
mad.
liked you for the longest
Yeah.
time. She was
And
like,
she told
no.
me. She told me.
Yeah, she's not gonna
I
hide it.
think, yeah, she don't play. Abla don't play, and I love that though. She's
Yeah,
very free spirited, and she
she's-
speaks her mind.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you need friends like
For
those.
sure.
And one of my friends, Michael Freto,
Yes.
he's like that.
Yes.
He don't play, man. Like if he hears something about you, he's coming straight to you with it.
right,
He's not beating around in the bush.
Yes.
And he's going to be like, "Hey, this is what I heard.
Right.
What's the deal? What's going on?"
Exactly.
And he gives you a chance to explain yourself.
Right.
And I really respect that. When you can have friends like those,
Yes.
like, yeah, I respect that.
Right, but then you now all have she likes you now. You guys all have
man,
a bond.
Abla is my road dog, man. Whenever Abla comes to Jamaica, I have to take her out. And people always say what do they say? What do they say when they see me with all your friends?
I
out?
think people don't understand. I don't really know if it's the society or the environment that we're in. A lot of people don't understand the friendship dynamic that I have. We're all like sisters, and then they always say, they always joke around, like, because a lot of my friends are African, so the term is, oh, our husband, and that's not literally, or, it's just out of respect, like, that's our brother, so we have that bond where if I'm not around, they'll check in on you, and it's not anything malicious or someone trying to, I think,
and people
like, there's this
people are gonna hate because your friends are
and then
beautiful.
people think that, oh, I think there's been a few comments of them saying, oh, Asafa's flirting with your friend and this and this and that. And it's like, he's always teasing people. That's how he is. And we're a family unit. So I think sometimes to me, it's quite sad that people don't get to experience real friendships like that.
The thing is,
it's quite unfortunate.
People are used to these things happening though.
Right, where everything's just spite for
that's
spite. You
why
can't trust your friend.
There are many times like you have friends who sleep with their
I know. I mean, like, it does happen, for sure.
Things like this happen. So
yes.
Sometimes you can't fault people.
No, for sure, because it's real life. Yes.
And come on, I'm an attractive guy, and your
Six
friends,
pack,
your friends
everything.
are, beautiful girls.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But I always like to commend them and always like to give them their props. And I do it on video. I don't, I don't hide and do it. So.
Yeah.
But
I think it's just that dynamic. It hasn't really been seen before. Like, we can all hang out. I mean, it's similar. Like I can hang out with you and I call him Mikey, but Michael Frater, we can all hang out and talk. And like sometimes I'm just with the guys, you know, and it's just that dynamic that we're just comfortable. And
we need to say more of that, you know. But I mean, people come around with a different.
I mean, also it's like choose your friends wisely as well, because sometimes you have people around you that, I can't trust my man around. And that means, why are you? That's not your best friend, or that's not someone that's supposed to be in your life. And
they probably just have history with their partner, you know. But sometimes you can't really fault people.
There's so many layers of that.
When you really look at it, you know, you can understand where they're coming from.
Right.
You know, I
mean, I want to say one thing, as in, people always say, not taking a dig at you, but I'm just saying, as in, some women are probably scared to date like athletes, or there's this saying, you know, like, oh, if a man cheats and has made mistakes, like they can't change. I think you're like a testimony to that, that can definitely, it can happen.
Man, I used to say if I get married, like any man can get married. Because the lifestyle that I used to live, it's a movie.
Yeah, no,
you
for
know,
sure.
So I was saying to myself, you know, if I can settle down and get married, you know, any man can do it. You know, maybe there are men out there who are worse than
and then sometimes too, like I think sometimes marriage is not for everyone, you know, but I think, like I said, just some women will hear, oh no, he can't change, or this and all this stuff. You just have to study your person and trust. Obviously, I'm not saying accept everything and lower your standards and all of these things, but people do change. I guess you just
but nonetheless,
boundaries.
I'm still growing.
Yeah, of course, we're all growing,
and
everybody.
I'm still learning. Like I still learn a lot from you,
right?
Because even though you're younger than I am, you know, you always say I'm 11 years old. It's not 11.
It is.
It's not 11. All right. Even though I'm older than you are, it's like you are so mature and like you're so driven. You know what you want.
Right.
You know, and you know, I'm still learning from you. Like every day.
I think we're still learning from each other, because in so many ways, when you talk about drive, I sit back and I look at you and I'm like, wow, like everything you've done is legendary. And we have kids and I want to be an impact to them. Like when they look at you, you're impactful already. So I want to see their mom striving for her own and doing her own thing. She was independent, but she was still able to be a wife, like just being able to wear these many hats that, and hoping that we can influence them, that you can have all these hats and still be able to be married. I mean, even for you, like whatever career path they choose, it's like, if it's marriage that they want, I mean, it's possible. So for me, you drive me in that aspect of like, I'm always like, I want to rush back to work and stuff. So it's like you've made an impact, and I'm like, there's so much more that I have to offer.
Support is very important.
Yeah, for sure.
Support is very important.
Yeah, I mean, from day one, I think I did tell you that I can't, like for me, I can't just not work. I just need to work. I mean, from growing up, I've been always like fending for myself, working. The beauty of it now is I don't need to fend for myself. We can work together like we're doing now, but I still want to be able to have
and
you know?
You know one thing that, and like I said, like a lot of people will have their own opinion and all that stuff. You are very old school.
That's true.
Very
it's
old
in a way.
school. like
old soul. I always get told I'm an old soul.
Very old soul, you know. And you know, I'm old school as well. You know, and I think, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, why you're so much more mature, and you know, you act the way you are, you know, and you know, like I say, a lot of people have their own opinions, because I mean, you're allowed to. You know,
yeah.
But this is just the way you are,
yes.
you know, and you, like, everyone wants to do the same thing that they, like, social media controls, you know, the world in a sense, or that's what they
like
think.
People follow the trends or think, what's happening.
So they tend to want to follow every trend, you know. That's why I always say to you, oh, I don't want to do the next dance that comes out. I don't want to follow everything that goes on. I just want to be my own self.
Yeah, do your own thing.
You know, so all the trends that, you know, that's coming out, I don't want to be a part of that. You know, I want to be my own person.
I mean, I think that's always been us. But I also remember going back to how I was saying, like, how impactful you are in our household, and that drives me to also want to be that person as well. I remember when people did find out that we were engaged, and I remember hearing like hurtful comments of people calling me like a gold digger. I came from Africa to come, you know, steal whatever you had and all these things. And it was in that moment, it really hurt me because I'm like, my whole entire life, I worked for everything I've had. Nothing was ever given to me. And then some of these people were people that were close to you, that were saying these things about me. They didn't get to know me. They didn't even give me a chance. So, I mean, like, and then I think it became like a public thing too as well. People just assume that, oh, would she be with him if he isn't who he is? There was a lot of that. And like I had said, when I first met you and not met you, but
man, you really love me though, because
it was a lot of criticism. It was just like a lot of
women who just run away.
Backlash. It was a lot of like bullying. So in the same token, like being with the celebrity is.
But we didn't get married for anybody, you know. We didn't get married for people or to
but it
whatever.
was. I think what's meant to be is meant to be, and we already had established that friendship and bond already, and we've already gone through our ups and downs. So it wasn't able to break us, but. Man, people can be very harsh on the internet.
One thing I get to understand in this world, like people don't need a reason to dislike you.
Right.
Like people will dislike you because, like, for me, I remember meeting somebody, and from that person said that to me, is like, I was like, you don't need to be my friend. You know, the person was like, oh, you know, I thought when I saw you on TV, I didn't like you because I thought you were stuck up and you were this
I hear
and
that's
that.
a lot about
I'm
you.
like, but you don't know me.
Right. You just assume.
You only see me on TV. Everybody saw me on TV and thought I was like 5 foot flat.
Right.
That I was short.
I mean,
you don't know a thing about me.
Right.
And people, you know, would look at me, oh, his nose is too big, I don't like him. You know, he's too fast, I don't like him. Oh, he's coming second behind this person, I don't like him. Like people try to find something to dislike about you until they dislike you for the most stupid things.
I mean, I think also sometimes it's like when you're unhappy in your own being, you perceive things the wrong way, or you want to put your misery on others. But I brought that up as in one thing that I always loved about you was you always had my back in terms like that. So I think in times where when I was weaker, because it was like a whole new world for me being, I don't consider myself a celebrity, but just being a relationship. I mean, it's out there, but a lot of our stuff is like still private, but just you being able to be like, you know, you were consoling me. And
when it comes to brushing off people and brushing off things, I'm like Mike Tyson. Like, nobody. I always say something like, people who I don't know can't hurt me.
Right,
they can't say anything to hurt me because you have no idea who I am. You don't know me. I didn't grow up with you.
Right.
My mother didn't push you out.
Right.
You know, we're not family.
Right.
We're nothing. So somebody all the way across the world saying something negative about me, like, I'm like, man, you know, but that's where I have to come in with you because you're not used to.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game.
You know, so you have to be there for you to let you know that.
Yeah, a whole different lifestyle. I mean, and sometimes I think people find it's easier to come for me because they don't know much about me. So it's easier to dig
that's
at
what I'm
me.
saying.
And,
they try to find something to dislike about you.
Right.
Or, you know.
But sometimes something like that can destroy a relationship.
That's what I'm saying. You really love me because you know, man, you got some punch and all that stuff.
Some heavy blows and some low blows. And
but you keep your teeth guard in place.
Yeah,
so,
I did, you know. Gotta shake it off. But all in all, I think for me, and the reason why I wanted to share a lot of like our story today and how we met and everything, it's just in a relationship for me, it's just friendship is always key because I might wake up today and I'm like, I mean, it's not all the time that I'm gonna like you, but we have the friendship, so I respect you, and you might get on my nerves, vice versa, I might get on your nerves, but that friendship and communication is definitely key, and the transparency.
And for me is choosing love, you know, because like a lot of times, no matter how many friends you have, like when I say friends, I mean like girlfriends or
of course,
friends with benefits and all stuff like that. No matter how much of that you have and how much access you have to that, when you go to bed lonely.
Right. I remember you saying that you were always
and no matter you could be the biggest celebrity in this world, you could have everything, and when you don't have that person that you really love and want to spend the rest of your life with, man, you're the loneliest person in the world, man.
Yeah, I think
you go to bed very lonely.
You had said something of probably a lot of times you probably knew the people around you were just there for a season, but you kept them around because
I needed the company.
You were lonely, yes. At the time,
I needed the company.
Lifestyle.
And so I didn't mind, even though, I might have an idea that this person probably, talking behind my back or saying stuff behind my back. So I always had my guard up, but, I needed the company. So I let friends stick around, because of that.
Right. So there's so many ups and downs of being Mr. Celebrity, of just, or even just being
Mr. Celebrity will always choose love, So, yeah, guys, we're going to end it off now.
Yeah, more to come.
I'm too much on the spot.
He's like, I am sweating and he's getting shiny and tense. So, yeah, this was good. It was nice talking to you and
kiss teeth.
And everything. And let's cheers to it.
Kiss teeth.
Nice talking, nice working with my husband.
Cheers. Yeah, you don't have much, Let's cheers.
I mean, no, I don't have much.
I don't want to spill it on the carpet. Come. Cheers.
Yeah,
I'll give you some after.
Cheers to love. We made it and we're here. And thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, and choose love, guys.